This week at Seasons Art, we're doing sunglasses in oil pastel on grey pastel paper, and you're going to begin your sketch with a neutral coloured pastel. It can be either the burnt sienna, yellow ochre. Sight your sunglasses. So I've got one sunglass. I'm going to put a diagonal, which is the midway point for the sunglasses, and I'm going to decide how deep, the depth of the sunglasses, and then depending on the depth, I'm going to sight the width. So there are 4 depths into the width. I roughly want the middle section of my sunglasses to go here. So 1, 2 will give me the edge here, and 1, 2 will give me the edge of the sunglasses here. So you're mapping out the maximum depth or the height and the maximum width for your sunglasses. And I have a second pair off at a different angle, which gives me an interesting composition. These are a slightly different style. The depth, the center point, I'm going to put roughly here. And this time it's in thirds. So it's going to be 1.5 of the depth either side. So that's the depth of my sunglasses. I've got 1 and then a half. And then I'm going to make it equal on the other side. So once you have your guides for your maximum depth or height and maximum width, you can start to bring shape into the rim. So you've got the part of the frame that sits in the bridge of the nose. I'm now going to shape the lens, bringing in soft curves to the edges of the frame, and then making sure that the width of my lens is the same. Keep checking those dimensions. And you've got these super reflections where the light is casting the colour of the lens onto the flat surface that the glasses are sitting on. So I'm just popping that shape in. Bringing this symmetry into the lenses. These are pink lenses, and they're very transparent, so you can see the leg of the frame through the glass lens. And I'm simplifying the shapes, and we're creating a sense of light and dark through strong blocks of colour. And then there's a reflective drop shadow of the lens onto the flat surface. So it's almost like seeing the lens of the glass sunglasses twice. I'm also going to place a horizon line in to split the background of the picture up, where you've got the background and the flat surface. I'm going to bring a pastel background colour above the horizon line. I'm using the pastel pink and combining that with the pale pink. So I've got 2 values of pink, slightly stronger pink. So I'm combining and layering the 3 pinks. So you can feather and layer the 3 values of pink. Next, taking the white oil pastel, I'm going to shape around the sunglasses and the reflective shapes. I'm using the broad side of the white oil pastel to carve out the negative spaces. carefully where the highlight has caught some of the edges to the frame and lenses. So planning those highlights. Some of those reflective highlights will be quite fine and linear, and some of them will be dots and dashes. Next, I'm going to build colour into the frame, thinking about not only the hue, but also how light or dark that particular colour is. So the glasses at the back are a lime green. So using the broad side of the oil pastel, putting that base colour down, simplifying the shapes into blocks of colour. Where the rim is slightly darker, I'm going to apply slightly less pressure, allowing the grey paper to scumble through. Got these pink glasses in the foreground. I'm blocking in those strong shapes, bringing that same pink into the reflections on the flat surface. I'm using a feathering technique. Negative space in the white, refining those shapes. The lower part of this lens has a darker blue-green, so blocking in those shapes. All these different shades of green, yellow-green, blue-green, creates lovely analogous colour harmony. Looking carefully along the rim of the glasses, where are those darker areas of shade and colour? And there's a dark edge along the top of the rim and on parts of the inside of the rim as well. Edge of the legs, and you've got the reflection of the frame onto the flat surface. And there's quite a defined edge coming across. I want to push the background back, so I'm going to blend to soften the background. You can use a paper towel or you can use a blending stick. I'm going to feather the dark blue or green where the lens has been reflected onto the flat surface. And because it's paler, I'm going to feather the white over the top. So you're laying down the colour and then layering the white over the top to create the correct value because it's paler. I'm using a mid-green for the block of colour on the upper part of the lens, and then again feathering a small amount of white to lift the value. I'm going to feather a small amount of cerulean blue into the reflection on the flat surface. Where I want some more contrast, I'm going to take the Prussian blue and feather that into the darkest areas of green. So I've got pockets of strong dark value in the lens. Working back into the background with another layer of white. With the pink sunglasses, the top part of the lens is more lilac. So laying down, feathering the colour into those blocky shapes with the purple, and then feathering some white over the top to mix the lilac colour. The legs of the pink sunglasses has a mixture of warmer tones. So I'm going to add some stronger yellow ochre and a dark burnt umber where the legs are very dark in value. Constantly looking at these shapes of light and dark and choosing a hue or colour. It might not be the exact colour, but if you can get the value correct, it will give a three-dimensional effect to your sketch. Once you've got your base colours down for the frame, the reflection, and a good idea where the light and dark shapes are, you can start to build stronger colour into your oil pastel. So I'm using a bit more pressure. Some of the highlights I'm going to use a strong lemon yellow for the lime green sunglasses. So where I initially put the white, I'm overlaying the strong yellow. I'm going to increase the strength of the reflected colour from the pink sunglasses, mixing pink over the top and then feathering some cerulean blue because the reflection is cooler. I'm taking some tertiary red-orange. And on the legs of the pink sunglass, I've got some stronger sections of colour. They're quite warm. And it works really well with the yellow ochre and the burnt sienna. Taking the pale salmon pink and working back into the pink lens. And then layering the cool pink and a small amount of the fuchsia pink. Defining some of the edges of the legs of the glasses that show through the glass lens. Using the salmon pink for some of the reflections of the lens, you can feather, and around the framework you can use gestural strokes of strong colour for the frame and where the light is catching along the edges. In places I'm going to come in with a small amount of white. Layer that over the top. The light is strongest. Building the layer of blocky shapes of colour in the lens. Deepening some of the contrast and darkening the blue-green with touches of Prussian blue. And then I'm going to work another layer of white, feathering it into the flat surface, all of the negative spaces, and that will help to define the edges of reflected, colourful cast shadows of the light shining through the coloured lens. And you can also work back in using the broad stroke of your oil pastel. And I'm going to finish off by bringing some warmth into the flat surface with the pale salmon pink, breaking it over the horizon line, softening that edge. And your colourful sunglasses in oil pastel using blocks of vibrant colour is now complete. And thank you for watching.